Welcome to GTC's Teaching Tidbits. Each episode, we explore a teaching technique, tip, practice, or idea from faculty for faculty. And today, we have joining us from the Behavioral and Social Sciences Department, Jamie Roughton. Welcome, Jamie.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm so glad that you are with us today. Before we get to the tidbit, for those who might not know you, would you share just a little bit with us about your background, the courses you've taught and are teaching currently, etc.?
My name is Jamie Roughton. I have been an instructor at Greenville Tech for 5 years. Prior to that, I took about 5 years off of education and stayed home with my daughter who had some health problems. And then before that, I worked for 10 years at Central Carolina Community College in North Carolina. I teach political science. I have taught reading in the past and English in the past, and I do teach some college skills classes, but my main focus is political science, and it's something that I absolutely love, though I do not love the polarization.
I understand that. That's great, Jamie. Thank you for sharing that. And for those of you who may attend the Constitution Day events, Jamie is the person behind that and always does such a great job at organizing those. So I am very excited to have Jamie on today. Jamie is here to share a tip that will make grading assignments in Blackboard so much easier. At least if you didn't know about this, which I didn't, and will keep you from having to type the same comment over and over and over again. So that's all I'm going to say about that, Jamie. I'm going to turn it over to you to share your teaching tidbit.
So this is when you have assignment in Blackboard that a student uploads a document into the assignment. And if you'll notice that you have these little toolbars up at the top of your assignment. And the one that I'm going to be talking about is this one right here with the little books, and it's called the content library. So what you want to do is you kind of want to scroll your screen up until you're at the point, like you pull your full screen up till you're at the point where your document is almost at the top, and open up your content library. And for the rest of this is just how it works best for me. For the rest of your grading, you will want to scroll on the actual paper instead of scrolling your document up, because that'll be harder for you to access your content. So this is just a paper that I've thrown in here and thrown together with some, and it's not a student paper. It's something that I have written up. And some of these comments are going to be more specific to my discipline, but it just will show you how this works. And so what I'm doing here is I'm looking at the student's work over here on the left-hand side. And for example, this citation in APA is incorrect. So what I would do is I have kind of keywords in my mind, and I have built this content library through time by adding comments as I'm typing them to students. And I'll show you how I did that in just a moment. But for me, for example, I have in text is a key word for me that kind of springs forward in my mind. So I start typing that in, and you'll see like all the ones I've had with in-text citation. And this is the one we're looking at. So what I do is I click place comment, come over here to where it is, and then I just put it here, and you'll see there, that's the comment that I had before. So I have your in-text citation is not formatted correctly. Review the basic rules formatting here. And what I will do here is I put a website that gives them actual real feed, like real world application and real world ability to see how it's correctly formatted. And for me, I like to use Purdue OWL. So that's why I have Purdue OWL here. So then you just hit save, and there it is. If you wanted to add to it, you can add to it in the box, or you could type in the little box that you just saw, like if you needed something more specific to apply to a particular student, which sometimes I do need like a little extra, but you already have the base of the comment, and you have your resource for the student to learn from there as well. So it makes it easier for me to make really constructive feedback, also with resources directly available where I'm not going to have to search. And so, for example, I'll show you another one that a couple other ones that I just have. So like for me, here is a thesis statement. Now there's 3 parts to this paper, but they've only really addressed 2 here, which would be negative and positive. So I have like partial thesis statement, which is a common one I have where they don't cover all of the topics. So I have, this is a partial thesis. It does not cover all of the required components. To create an effective thesis, you'll want to include all 3 content areas and your point about their connection to your chosen topic in 1 sentence. And so that's just kind of a common one I have for this sort of paper. And if I had a different paper that had 4, content areas they were supposed to do, or I needed a little bit of a rewording, I can always reword that as well. And then grammar is a big thing for our students, something that many of them struggle with. So I have created, like, for comma splices, for example, I would place, like, if they have a comma splice, I can come over here and it tells them this is a comma splice. And then I actually have a great resource that I've used before that called the Guide to Grammar. And it has like a little tutorial with an explanation of what comma splices are, what run-ons are. It kind of puts those together. And then I have it available for any student, which unfortunately is common, that I do have students that have run-ons and comma splices. So I have it and I can just pop it right in there really quickly, hit save. And again, if I need to actually add something to it, then I can. I have a lot of like APA guidance. A lot of students struggle with citing. So I have websites. So as I said, for everything. And like, here's a great one that I use a lot. A lot of my students wait till the very end of a paragraph to cite, which is incorrect. They need to cite as soon as they start talking about something that's not common knowledge. So I have this great website that from Rasmussen University that has a breakdown of the good, bad, and the ugly of citing an APA. And so I use this, and it anytime they're citing too late, and it gives them this website that shows them very definitively, like, this is bad, don't wait till the end. Here's a good, and then there's the ugly, which is you cite every single sentence. It's correct, but it's kind of ugly. So it shows them how to do it correctly. So I have that in there as well. Now, to add comments to your content library, all you have to do is come here and you can copy and paste your content into that. Or you can type it into it. Sometimes I find, like, if I'm responding to a student and I'm writing like, it is always important, I'm just making up one right off. It is always important to conclude each paragraph with a statement, that closes your main points and opens the door to your next point. And I'm like, and if I'm like, oh, I think I'm probably going to have to write that again later on, I can already go ahead and just keep it there for that particular student. But I can come here, I can copy it. I just copied it right there, and I can paste it right here. And then it's saved forever in my content library. And then I could just pull it up. One that I like to use a lot, especially since my students do research, is and like I said, you don't necessarily have to have resources, but I love to have the actual resources. But there are some things, like one of the things I have with students is they'll make a comment or they'll make a claim and they will not support it. And so I have a comment that's my common kind of go-to comment. And I just know that it's case is my keyword. And so I tell them, when you have a claim and research paper, you must support it directly with evidence from reliable academic sources. And I tell them to be like a lawyer. So they're supporting their case. When they make a claim, support their case. And so I don't have like a resource there, but it's just kind of a common comment that I use a lot to kind of try to make students understand how they want to present a paper. So, and again, you can type into it if you want to add something, like if you want to call a student's name, and I'm just gonna put my own name. Here you have started this, but public opinion data would better support your point. Like if you want to make it a little bit more pointed to that student, you can just add it to it, and then you hit save and you have it done. And that's essentially it. And it does follow you from every class that you are teaching, regardless of what class it is. So that's essentially it.
This is so great, Jamie. I'm so excited because you actually gave us kind of 2-for-1 tidbits here today. You gave us not only just how to use this tool, in just the everyday elements of, the basics, but then gave us also some additional suggestions in terms of what is good feedback. I love that you're including resources. That's a good reminder, even to me when I'm grading, that providing that resource is such a great idea. So again, I'm so excited that you were going to share this. I did not know this existed. And so I am so glad that you stumbled across this. And I know that anyone else who did not know that this existed will be very excited as well. I see this saving me a lot of time in the future. So thank you so much for sharing that with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I find that even as an instructor, I mean, we're all very busy, and just having it kind of at your fingertips, those resources, makes me a better instructor. Like I am more likely to give students those if I kind of have them at my fingertips and ready to go. So it's a definite. Building it takes some time, but you do it through grading. So you can do that copy and paste. But after you've done it for a semester, you've got a huge bank. So it doesn't take as much time as one would think, but it definitely helps out. Definitely.
Yeah, I think you've made a great point there. The time taken to build it in the long run will save you so much time in the future. So I love that. Well, I know that Jamie welcomes you to reach out. If you want to continue the conversation, I've got Jamie's email address here on the screen for you, jamie.roughton@gvltec.edu. And please feel free to reach out, ask questions, continue that conversation as you would like. If you have questions you'd like answered or topics you'd like to see covered in the series, let me know. You can email me at rachel.cobb@gvltec.edu, and I will make sure that we include those topics in our future episodes. And of course, as always, if you have a teaching tidbit worth sharing, or you know someone who does, please let me know. We want to get that featured in one of these episodes to share that wonderful new tip or technique, or old tip or technique that we didn't know about, with your fellow colleagues here at the college, making things easier as much as we can. So please let me know if you or you know someone who does. Well, that's this week's GTC Teaching Tidbit, and we'll see you next time.